76-73. The czar, Mike Fratello, among those in attendance here today.
Yeah, you know, somebody has to take the fall for the low scoring, and Mike Fratello's the guy that orchestrated all of that.
Don't even go
Cheap
there.
shot.
Mike Fratello is an outstanding basketball man. An incredible leader, teacher.
Anthony Mason, tough shot as he shoots over Harrington. Miami has Marley, Mason, Green, Jones, and Carter on the floor. And New York with Childs, Johnson, Sprewell, Harrington, and Rice.
Shot clock up against the Knicks right now. Great defense, Eddie Jones.
2 to shoot. Harrington fall away short. Came right back to him.
Anthony Mason, when he defends the pick and roll, he's only played for Riley here in Miami. He's not doing it right. He's faking at him and then still letting him come around the top of the corner.
Sprewell. Outside shot goes for Latrell Sprewell. And he has 9 points. New York's lead is 3.
Come right back to Mason here. Without Brian Grant, he's their creative guy.
Eddie Jones, tough shot. Harrington the rebound.
Riley told us that Eddie Jones is the guy that's got to finish the game for him. So you can look for Eddie Jones to be more aggressive here in the fourth quarter of play, and that means Anthony Mason's going to have to snatch it off the glass.
Sprewell will shoot a pair of free throws as we go back to Lewis for an update on Grant.
Well, Tom, you see Brian Grant now sitting on the bench. While he was in the locker room, therapists are working on him in the mid-back area. That's where he was having the spasms. They haven't changed his status. He's still questionable, but I've been watching and he's kind of wincing and seems as though that back is still giving him some.
Miami won at New York. Latrell Sprewell rose to the top of the leadership board, but he challenged his teammates to get it together, and they did that. Mason
Fouled by Harrington as he takes it inside. Backs quarter, cutting the New York lead to 1. Since then, the Knicks have outscored Miami 9-1. Bowen's floater goes down.
Van Gundy will live with that. I mean, you've got Eddie Jones passing it up. You've got Anthony Mason passing it up. You've got Tim Hardaway passing it up, and then Bruce Bowen having to do it all by himself.
Now they got a mismatch for Hardaway against Glenn Rice. Rice should be looking at this. 7 on the clock.
Steady passes it out to Childs.
Nice.
1 to shoot.
Stepped out of bounds. Marcus Stanby on the baseline.
So they turn it over.
Van Gundy said, come on, guys, know the dimensions of the court. You can't be out of bounds. And they worked it right down to the final second. Would have been a great shot clock possession, and they get nothing for it.
16 Knick turnovers. Sprewell still testing that ankle on the New York bench. Screen from Mason for Hardaway, and then off the screen, Jones comes out. Right to Grant, who is fouled. Again, that ball movement.
Brian Grant, who expressed a reluctance to play center when he was with the Portland Trailblazers. That was when he was having to go against Shaq and David Robinson on a regular basis. Much more willing to play that center position here in the Eastern Conference.
Larry Johnson for 3.
So, Bill, for $93 million, you'd play center too, wouldn't you?
I'd play center for nothing, Steve. Just let me out there.
Reluctantly.
Mason, low post.
They're paying him
against Hamby. Hardaway finds Bowen for 3.
So Bowen has been the offensive lifeblood for Pat Riley down the stretch here. With New York getting solid contributions from Rice, Larry Johnson, Allen Houston.
Houston's got to drive these guys. Now he's got to look to penetrate as Mason wraps both arms around him. Going to get called for the foul.
3-point shooting down the stretch. Always been a telling factor here. Larry Johnson, the recipient of beautiful passing of Allen Houston, who found him. I don't know how he could see him. And then Hardaway, the skip pass over to Bruce Bowen, who's come alive with consecutive hoops now for Miami.
Knicks by 6. Houston spinning, falling down, threw it away. Mason gets it to Hardaway. Here's Jones, spotted for 3. Way long. Bad Smart-looking shot from Eddie Jones.
You know, a lot of times players today think about winning the game or catching up all with 1 or 2 big shots. Take the ball to the rim, get the 2, keep the pressure on the defense of the New York Knicks, as Bruce Bowen is all over Allen Houston.
Did you notice that Eddie Jones stopped at that dog fence 3-point line?
What was that, Jeff Van Gundy? You better tell that story, Tom.
Jeff Van Gundy says players today could get some fast break points if they were just run the floor. Instead, they want to stop at that dog fence 3-point line where they think they'll get shocked if they go beyond it and spot up to shoot. Larry Johnson commits his 3rd foul.
It's a 6-point game, and if you're the Heat and you got a transition opportunity, every bucket and every time you put them in jeopardy with fouls gives you a better chance to win. Houston has 4, Sprewell and Othello Harrington in the same boat, and Camby has 5, I think.
And Gundy's gone with Chris Childs down the stretch here after Charlie Ward was magnificent in the 3rd.
Mason banging his way down low, picks up a foul.
And Larry Johnson got a good complaint here. He's just standing there. This is the same complaint the guys have who try to guard Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, saying 3 seconds.
He's in good position. Not quite sure what Larry Johnson does there other than just stand his ground.
Well, he commits his 4th foul is what he does, officially anyway.
Called for. It's the joy of making the All-Star team, very similar to the joyous story that you told about Latrell Sprewell and Jeff Van Gundy early in the game.
4-point game, Houston. And he's fouled.
Harder. Van Gundy certainly a lot more flexibility with his bench.
Allen Houston 1 of 2, his first point since early in the 2nd quarter.
5-point game, and they double, so that means somebody's going to be open for the Miami Heat.
Mason goes back to the good thing, which is to back down. Grant. Camby blocks it out of bounds. Boy, Camby and Grant were going after each other. Grant went over the back to get the rebound, and then Camby blocked the shot.
Brian Grant killed himself, though, by taking that little peck dribble.
Mason will work against Camby. Camby playing in foul trouble. Back to Hardaway for 3. Inside out works as Hardaway knocks down the 3. 14 points, and it's a 2-point game.
The bigness of Hardaway showing up again. He has made 3 field goals here in the 2nd half. 3-pointers, all of them.
What Pat Riley say, don't underestimate him.
Sprewell is back in. Chris Childs still running the point here.
And running it well as Camby gets a layup.
Looked like Grant stepped on his heel, and he wanted to go to the line.
He banged his leg pretty bad there, Marcus Camby.
6 points for Camby, who's playing with 4 fouls. Here's Mason again.
This is a tough
against
matchup.
Rice. Back to Hardaway for 3 again. That time it doesn't work. And Rice gives it up to Childs.
Would have been a perfect opportunity to repost Anthony Mason. I don't believe Glenn Rice could guard Anthony Mason down in that low block. But Anthony Mason is not going to guard Glenn Rice either. So
Childs can't finish it. Mason hauls it down. Gets it to Hardaway. Jones running the floor. Threw it away. Had nowhere to go. Good defense as the Knicks got back.
Van Gundy pleading with the team. Run. Opportunity to break down the offense.
So things looking good for New York if that trend holds. They have 91 points.
Sprewell got what he wanted. He got a mismatch. He got to spin to the baseline and overlaid it. Just couldn't finish.
Well, usually he uses the backboard there.
Jones just inside the 3-point line. Can't hit. He's gone cold in the 2nd half. Eddie Jones had 16 points at halftime, has scored only 5 in the 2nd half on 1 of 8 shooting after hitting 6 of his first 8.
Very painful for Marcus Camby. They can ill afford to lose him. They've already playing without Kurt Thomas.
Meanwhile, Glenn Rice misses as he drives to the hoop, and Miami has it down by 4. Grant with a jump stop, and Camby on his back, and Marcus has 5 fouls.
Harrington's got 5 fouls. Larry Johnson's got 4. Allen Houston has 4. Bruce Bowen on the Miami Heat side, he has 5 coming down the stretch.
They'll set it up again.
Terrific job by Bruce Bowen defensively, running right at Allen Houston and closing out perfectly.
You know, coaches go with who they trust, and Glenn Rice has been terrific, but down the stretch he's going with Sprewell and Houston, and Sprewell misses for the 2nd time in a row.
And then has the steal. Sprewell knocked it away from Hardaway, and Childs has it for New York.
Brian Grant grabbed Larry Johnson's jersey and kept him from the advantage that he had at the transition for New York.
2:40 left in the fourth quarter from Miami.
They got a mismatch. Houston is begging for the ball against Tim Hardaway. Sprewell.
Tough shot. He never squared himself to the rim. Off-balance shot with Eddie Jones in his face.
Phenomenal defense by Eddie Jones. No wonder Pat Riley desperately wanted it.
When he catches it there, you either concede or foul. And Grant rolled it through to tie the game at 91. Grant had him pinned on the hip, takes the contact and puts it through. And Miami's on a 12-3 run over the last 4.5 minutes. Alonzo Mourning celebrates as the Heat tie it at 91. The NBA on NBC. Choose to come down to the final possession. We're tied at 91 with 2:21 remaining. New York had a 9-point lead, but Miami has outscored them 12-3 since then. Here's the foul trouble. Camby and Harrington with 5 each. Bowen has 5 for Miami.
And this is where the imaginative and creative offense has to come into play. Who can deliver? They got something going on down here by the Heat bench.
We'd like to send Lewis over to find out what happened, but he's having a pina colada, I think.
Got his sunglasses on. He's talking to the Knicks fans out there on the balcony.
Hopefully somebody didn't pass out or one of the Heat fans didn't attack one of these Knicks fans, but this has been an intense rivalry, and sometimes it spills over into...
Well, something about you being at a game, Bill. They're ejecting a fan for profane language. Weren't you involved in one of those recently?
No, I don't use profanity.
Well, Bill was at the Allen Iverson game when a fan was heckling him in Indiana. Was it? Might have been Mike Fratello out over there. I don't know.
No, Mike doesn't use profanity.
Lewis, what's happening?
You might not believe this, but singer-songwriter Jimmy Buffett is over in the crowd there. Take a look if you pan off and you'll see him in the yellow shirt. Apparently he had some words with one of the referees, and the big commotion is that they are trying to throw him out. There was a discussion, I guess, as to how he would go out. There were hands put on him. He began to ask the security officers not to put hands on him, and so he is getting up. You'll see him in the yellow shirt now, and he is being escorted out of American Airlines Arena for mouthing off to the officials.
They're throwing Jimmy Buffett out?
Jimmy Buffett.
That's unbelievable that Jimmy Buffett is getting thrown out.
Saw Joe Forte, the official, over there, and apparently Buffett is on his way to the exit. Meanwhile, 2:10 left in the game. Here's Allen Houston spinning on Boeing, can't score. And Anthony Mason has the carom for Miami.
You know, that just puts more fuel to the fire in terms of hatred. You know, the owner, Mick Johnson, just said, would that happen to Spike Lee? Do any celebrities in New York ever get kicked out? 9 on the clock for Eddie Jones.
Jones drives on Sprewell, got by him, finds Bowen for 3. Air ball. And Camby has it for New York.
Eddie Jones should be shooting that ball, and Bruce Bowen should be creating with the penetration.
Again, they're trying to set up a pick and roll situation and then let Sprewell or Houston get it. Sprewell's going to go against Eddie Jones, and he's had a tough time getting the shot away.
Ball away won't go. Tap no good by Camby. And then Mason. Anthony Mason with a double-double, his 22nd of the season. He has 12 rebounds.
Come to Mason down low. See if New York double teams here.
Eddie Jones, quick shot. Rolls no good, but Grant, offensive rebound, brings it down, and they
Timeout.
nearly tie him up. He calls a timeout to save possession for Miami. Miami, where Jimmy Buffett is on his way to Margaritaville, and leaving Tom Hammond, Steve Jones, and Bill Walton with Lewis Johnson for the final minute in a tie game.
What is going on here?
New York has only scored 1 field goal in the last 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Here's another timeout taken.
Where's the offense? Anthony Mason down low. He set the cross screen for him.
Here's Jones. Eddie Jones. Hardaway for 3. Front of the rim, no good. Jones with an offensive rebound, draws the foul. Let's see if it's on Canby or Sprewell. If it's on Canby, it would be 6.
The Knicks' inability.
It's on Sprewell, and that's number 4.
The Knicks' inability to contain Eddie Jones' drives along the baseline have killed all their chances on this free throw. Critical.
He had hit all 7 of his free throws before then. He scored 21 points.
Hasn't scored here in the fourth quarter of play. He had 5 in the third.
He misses them both.
Remember the Dallas game earlier this week? Right at the end, Eddie Jones misses a free throw that cost him a chance to win it in regulation. They ended up losing it overtime. Miami at Dallas in a New York timeout. Sprewell in Houston has to come to the fore right now if New York's going to get this victory.
Well, they got Glenn Rice back in the game to get a chance to shoot the ball, but Childs goes on his own.
Can't hit. Can be.
Timeout. He's calling a timeout.
Did he travel or did he get the timeout? He called a timeout in midair, and he's given the timeout. New York inbounds. Chris Childs will trigger it in.
Go with the history of your big shot maker. That's Allen Houston.
Allen Houston against Bowen.
Well, the longer you take, the more the defense sets. Everybody's looking at Allen Houston. He gets by.
Pull up is no good. Grant hauls it down, and they call timeout with 3.5 left. New York has just a field goal and a free throw in the last 7 minutes, 45 seconds. And Miami with a chance to win it. Here's the pass to Anthony Mason. Blocked shot, and we're headed to overtime.
How unusual.
Free throws.
Now that one's going to stink. So you go back to Dallas and the free throw missed there. You come here to this ball game, and now you foul out, and there's nothing you can do but just sit and brew.
And that's exactly what Eddie Jones is doing on the Miami bench. Sprewell looking to hit 3 free throws consecutively, and he does.
Well, we've all been where Eddie Jones is right now, and it's a horrendous feeling. It's the kind of thing that stays with you literally the rest of your life.
4-point New York lead.
Well, if he doesn't stay with you, your friends are going to bring it up.
Bowen hits a long range 2. Bruce Bowen has scored 11.
Bowen has come up with some big shots at timely moments when it looked like they were going to fall out of it. Bowen steps in, makes a 3 or 2, keep the game close.
But now he's got the responsibility of slowing down Sprewell.
You got to drive Bowen, though. There's no way that he can stick and stay if you just put the ball on the floor and go past him. Sprewell.
Up and under, and Canby with a follow.
The inability to control your defensive backboard down the stretch.
8 points, 13 rebounds for Marcus Canby.
I thought you said that about the Knicks.
Grant right underneath, missed it. And Ward has it for New York.
Van Gundy calling for the fast break here while the Heat are disorganized.
And they got it with Larry Johnson from Charlie Ward. 22 in overtime.
Well, Van Gundy's up, you know, he's saying don't leave the three-point shooters, but Miami should be thinking about a quick 2. That would make it a 2-point game. Hardaway, travel.
How's that not step?
Well, he made it. No call. He stepped under and got his 16th point of the game. As we come to the 1-minute mark, New York's lead is cut to 2. Timeout Knicks.
Well, but let's see if they come back to Glenn Rice.
There it is. Rice has the ball. Marley right with him. Sprewell with 8 to shoot. Now Rice again. Fall away shot. No good. Mason the rebound.
Where's Allen Houston? He didn't foul out, did he?
No,
but he's had a long dry spell. And he's on the bench. Here's Hardaway for 3. Back rim to Sprewell.
Van Gundy with the 4-down play to cross to the big men up top and roll it up high to Latrell Sprewell and let him go.
Johnson with a screen for Sprewell. Now LJ launches a 3. No good. And Miami has it back. Bowen to Hardaway. Timeout. Heat with 14 seconds left in overtime.
It'll be Mason handling the ball.
Mason at the point forward. Finds Tim Hardaway for 3. An air ball to Bowen, who is fouled, but he can't get it down, but he'll go to the free throw line.
things just get stranger and stranger.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Thank you.
Well, you know, again, they go to Hardaway because he's a big moment player for. He's had a lot of big threes on a poor shooting day. They thought he had one more big three in him, and the miss came right into the hands of Bowen. And now we'll find out whether Bowen can take the heat.
Well, he's made some big shots, as you said. This is his first trip to the free throw line, and Bruce is only a 66% free throw shooter.
He cannot.
Oh, not even close.
Take the heat.
Now you have to miss this one.
Lynn Rice returns for New York.
Well, you don't have to miss it. You got to make it.
You want to win, you have to miss it.
Well, no. If he makes it and then they try for a steal and get a quick foul, they will still have another possession and a chance to tie. Look at Sprewell, base guard Marley.
Miami started the game hitting 30 of 33 free throws. They missed their last 3. Second one good. 4.4 seconds in OT.
Now, you got to try for a steal here if you're...
And there it is with 3.7 seconds, and Mason and Johnson square off.
Not good at all.
And Jeff Van Gundy's right in the middle of it again.
Van Gundy is saying to all the guys on the bench, get back over to the bench. And Mason and Larry Johnson.
What is Anthony Mason thinking?
And Larry Johnson still pointing at Mason, and Mason starts to come after him again. Kevin O'Neal and Jeff Van Gundy trying to restrain Larry Johnson, and none of the Heat people left the bench.
Remember what Mason told him.
Ward's pretty savvy. Now they're backing the fans off the baseline. Here we go. And a quick toss to Rice, and he laid it in.
Riley says timeout. He cannot believe the breakdown defensively.
Well, that was what we were calling for. And Rice with a quick move to the basket, and Ward hit him in stride, just like his quarterback days.
There was no pressure on the ball whatsoever. Marley gets burned for the back door. Now the Heat in a world of trouble.
In the Miami lineup for the first time in the game.
If you're New York, foul right here. Make Miami only get 2 shots.
House for 3 off the bench. No good. Game over. New York wins in overtime. House got an open look at it.
You know, he was just a little bit too anxious to be the hero. They've only been sitting for 3 hours. He hasn't touched the ball.
Well, this guy's got a 61-point game to his credit. The rookie, Arizona State. Second-round draft choice for Pat Riley's Heat.
Are you surprised he got such an open shot?
Absolutely.
Well, like there was a breakdown at the other end of the floor on the 2-point possession by the New York Knicks, which gave them the lead. There was a breakdown defensively by the New York Knicks, and the reaction from the Heat.
Cedric Ceballos just ecstatic there. Alonzo Mourning cannot believe the improbable turn of events. The missed free throws just took away any chance here. A great look. Dallas won a game like this, and they came back, and Orlando failed to foul down the stretch.
Well, Eddie Jones had a couple of free throws that potentially could have won it for Miami. He misses, and New York wins 103-100 in overtime behind 29 points from Glenn Rice.